Tolucc wishes to share with you some exciting news. Oh, there you are, Tolucc. Perfect timing. I've just heard of a juicy bit of gossip that I know you're going to be interested in. Apparently, and remember, you heard this from me, the Sultan's Sworn elite are sharing the secret skills and training of paladins. Incredible, I know. The Sultan's Sworn have an exclusive monopoly on the instruction of paladin skills. Once upon a time, if you weren't one of those officer track elites, then you had no chance to learn the arts, and competition to get to the top was very fierce indeed, let me tell you. But anyone who joined had to swear an oath of fealty to the Ul'dan Sultanate, which meant no more adventuring, no more daring do, and no more Colosseum. Just languishing about the palace all day polishing plate mail. That's why this news is so big. Now anyone with a bit of commitment can learn the skills of a paladin and no memorizing the 55 commandments of the Sworn or any other nonsense either. This is a platinum opportunity that comes by once in a lucky adventurer's lifetime. Let this slip through your fingers and you'll regret it for just desserts. You need to go to the Royal Promenade in the Hustings Strip, find the captain of the Sultan Sworn Elite, Genlin's his name, and tell him how you're just dying to become a paladin. Yes, I'm Genlins, member of the Sultan Sworn Elite and servant to the Ul'dan Sultanate. Unless my instincts deceive me, you have come to inquire about training as a paladin. If so, I would have your name, good woman. Tolucc, a fine name. I bid you welcome and salute your noble resolve. But if you were to aspire to paladinhood, you should understand what it means. A paladin swears allegiance to the Sultanate. A paladin shall be the sword and shield of the Sultanate. A paladin defends the people of this realm. Sellswords and gladiators and others of their ilk wield the blades for themselves, but a paladin serves the greater good. Do you understand me? The battle arts that the paladin learns that have been held secret, nurtured, and perfected within the ranks of the Sultan Sworn Elite for nigh on these 600 years. Of all those sworn to protect the Sultanate, the soldiers, the mounted guards, and the knights, we are the elite of the elite. Our conviction unwavering, our hearts true, our sword skills without peer. But the glory of the Sultan Sworn? Well, much of it is buried in the past now. Our brotherhood grows smaller by the year. We are a shadow of what we once were, and the Sultana turns to sellswords to defend her palace. All this because of one traitor. No, because of a blot of dishonor left by one who shall not be named, and because of him, we have been forced to seek the help of able-bodied adventurers. And here you are. We shall instruct you in the paladin military arts. You will not be included into the Sultan Sworn, but serve as a free paladin. However, first you will show us that both your sword and heart have metal, and you are worthy of the honor. In the ruins to the south of Little Alamigo, you will find an iron brazier. Light it, and the undead nearby will be drawn into the flame. Slay these monsters and give their hearts to the fire. Return the present to me to the ashes as proof of your deed. Now, would-be paladin, show me the metal in your heart and steel in the blade. If you are in this place searching for the undead, then you must be a petitioner seeking the secrets of the paladin arts. But make no mistake, simply learning paladin swordplay does not make you a paladin, nor does the armor you wear or the status you claim. I am just another aging free paladin, but you would do well to heed my counsel. Strike off the shackles that bind your spirit, lift the visor that blinds, and find the true path of the Paladin. Here, you will be returning to the captain, yes? Then give him this crystal. The way you use this sword reminds me of a man I used to know. Mine eyes may be old, but they can see the truth well enough. Be a paladin strong and true. Devote yourself to the way and become a beacon of light. Face the undead monsters who infest the ruins south of Little Amigo in southern Thanalan. Defeat them and return to me with proof of your deed. Yes, that's what I needed. Proof that you have defeated the undead. You have shown that your heart is true and that your sword has metal. I have no doubt that you will prove to be an attentive pupil. That is well, for there is much to learn. First and foremost is this. You are a paladin now, a custodian of traditions ancient and noble. A free paladin has no master. Instead, she travels all lands, and in every place takes up the cause of the unarmed and defenseless. You swear fealty not to the Lord, but to yourself. You are nobility amongst adventurers. You have taken your first step on a new path, and you have earned the right to bear this, the soul of the paladin. Upon its surface encarved the deeds of the paladins of eras past. She who bears it commands the respect of all knights of honor. Bahamut's Fang, you already possess a crystal, and you say it was given to you by an unknown free paladin? Who told you to hand it to me? Where's this crystal that you speak? I demand you show it to me at once. Curse him! He has made a mockery of the trial. That crystal you bear is indeed the soul of a paladin, but it is disgraced, impure. It was stolen from the Sultan Sworn. The man who gave you this soul is the very traitor whom I have been seeking these many moons. He is an oath-breaker who bent the knee to the old Iron Sultanate, who swore allegiance to the Sultan Sworn, but then single-handedly sullied our name, and trampled it underfoot until it was lost, perhaps forever. How dare he give counsel on honor, on the paladin way? This soul is polluted and I must dispose of it. When you come to wield your sword as a paladin, the only soul you may wear is that which is bestowed by a captain of the Sultan Sworn. That traitor is no Sultan Sworn, still less a captain. By giving you a soul he insulted not only the Brotherhood, but you too. Perhaps an adventurer like yourself finds our rules nothing more than a nuisance, but through regions long and short, our forebears in the Sultan Sworn have preserved its rituals and traditions, and we are duty-bound to uphold them, even if men and women within our own ranks scorn them as relics. It has been my fate to be named captain of the Sultan Sworn in these troubled times. Though I did not ask for this honor, I have bent my knee to the Sultan's honor and sworn fealty, and I will fight to restore our honor and name. You wield a skilled blade, and more importantly, you have met the traitor face to face. Your great task as a paladin will be to help me bring him to justice. You must ready yourself, marshal your resources, and hone your skills until the time comes when you are able to discharge your duty. The journey will be long, but you are a paladin now, and honor binds you as surely as an oath. Captain Genlins wishes to teach you more of the paladin arts. You have earned the right to call yourself a paladin, but how do others treat you? Do they recognize you for what you are? Remember that fancy swordplay and well-polished armor do not make you a paladin. You must be just in your heart and strive always to be an exemplar of true virtue. Once, not so long ago, the Sultan Sworn could walk the streets with their heads held high. When they marched by, the small folk would look upon them with reverence and gratitude, and no one was more respected than the captain, my predecessor. When I first saw him, I was still a child. My father had promised to take me to a local festival, but somewhere he took a wrong turn. We became lost and stumbled into a secluded back alley. Luck was not with us, because the next moment we found ourselves in the middle of a riot. Drunken hunters were firing arrows into the crowd. We were caught between them. There was no way out. It was only a matter of time before we'd be struck. That's when the captain saved us from our plight. I've never seen a sword move so swiftly. It flashed faster than my eyes could follow, and in seconds the hunters were on the ground or fleeing for their lives. The captain was gone down the street, slicing at their heels, before my father had time to even thank him. Even today I can see the captain as he was, then blood on his sword, armor, and possibly bright in the sun. After that, all I ever wanted was to be a paladin. I would practice endlessly with my sword, dreaming of bandits defeated by monsters slain. Even after I became one of the Sultansworn, the memory of the captain still inspired me. I was always the first to arrive in the training yard and the last to leave. And so the years passed, and before I knew it, I found myself named captain of the Sultansworn. Yet the triumph was hollow, because by then the honor of the Sultansworn elite, that very thing that had drawn me to the Brotherhood, was a mere vestige, like the discarded banner of a defeated foe. There were many reasons for the fall, but the loss of an Oathkeeper? Yes, that was the mortal blow. The sword Oathkeeper was bestowed upon the captain of the Sultansworn by the then Sultan of Ul'dah. In time it became our standard, the symbol of the oath we had sworn, and it was treasured by each new captain for generations. Possession was proof of Sultansworn command. But then the unthinkable came to pass. Oathkeeper was stolen by the traitor. It shook our brotherhood to the core. How could we be trusted to protect the Sultana if we cannot even hold on to the symbol of our fealty? We have been tarnished in the eyes of the ruler and ruled alike. If the Sultansworn are to survive, we must find the traitor and recover Oathkeeper. But the Sultansworn have grown too weak, and we cannot do it ourselves. We have been forced to recruit outsiders to help us in our cause. I have high hopes for you, my friend. It is a great thing that we ask, and you must learn more of our secrets if you are to succeed. In outer Lenosha, near the Hermit's Hovel, is a grove where ringtails congregate. Pinning yourself against a host of the beasts would be a fine way to hone the skills that I'll teach you. In the grove you'll find another brazier, this time filled with potent incense that will drive the creatures into a frenzy. Defeat the attackers and then return to me. Well done. You have taken the skills I taught you and made them your own. I still do not have word of where the traitor is hiding, but I will inform you the moment I do. Until then, continue your training. Captain Genland has another lesson to teach you. Welcome, Paladin. You should know that word of your deeds has reached me. Few of those who follow the true Paladin path without misstep, but you are one of them. I'm proud to call you sister. You have kept the faith, and in return, I must have faith in you. It is time that you knew the truth, though it is hard to share, for it is a shame I would rather keep hidden from outsiders. Perhaps you remember when I told you of the traitor and the sword Oathkeeper that he stole? His name is Silgils. and he was my predecessor as captain of the Sultan Sworn Elite. Yes, he was the same man whom I had admired as a child, who inspired me to take up the sword and follow the way of the Paladin. He was the paragon of paladins, until, that is, he changed. Some years ago now, there was a struggle for influence between the Sultanate military and faction. Within the syndicate known as the Monetarists, the latter emerged triumphant and the army's authority was diminished dramatically. Although Tolucc was still captain of the Sultan Sworn Elite, he knew his position was perilous, so he fled, taking Oathkeeper with him. In doing so, he went against the words that he had spoken on bended knee before his royal liege. Now it falls to me, as captain, to restore the honor and name of the Sultan Sworn. If that means cutting down my former mentor and master, I would do it gladly, for his misdeed cannot be forgiven. But his death will not lift the stain that mars our name. He must be put on trial in a public court so that everyone knows his crimes. Then and only then can we begin to earn the people's trust again. He served for over 30 years as captain of the Sultan Sworn Elite, and he's a formidable foe. Few can match his skills with the sword. Even together, you and I will have a difficult time to take him alive, without mortal harm to one side or the other. So you must continue to hone your skills and prepare for the day when we will face him. To complete the next stage of your training, you must do this. Go to the Yungrim River in eastern Thanalan and find the brazier we have placed there. By lighting it, you will draw the ire of leopards dwelling within the waters. Face the creatures in battle and master your new skills. The fight will not be easy, but if you take to heart what you have learned and let the crystal be your guide, you will triumph. Good. You've mastered your new skills and made them your own. But much work remains to be done before you can face the traitor Tolucc. We are close to finding him, and as our net draws tighter, it grows even more important that we make ready for the moment when the fish must be landed. Jinlins wishes to assign you to your most daunting trial yet. Welcome, friend. I have important news for you. In my search for the traitor, I have been looking through old records and discovered something chilling. Around the time the traitor Tolucc was named captain, several framed soldiers of the Sultan Swarm met with untimely deaths. But strangely, our records do not say how they died. Curious, I begged the favor of an old friend and received permission to inspect medical records kept by Frondel's profiterory. I discovered that the soldiers died in various ways, some in combat, some suddenly at night in the barracks, but in nearly every case, there were signs that poison had played a role in their demise. Yes, poison. Carefully, invisibly administered, the more I read, the more I saw the dark hand of death's embrace at work. Assassins in the pay and service of the Monetarists, a society so secretive that few believe it truly exists. But no matter how skilled and devious the assassins, they should not have been able to kill so many of the Sultan Sworn Elite without being discovered. Not, that is, without help from within our own ranks. So I asked myself, who had the most gained from their deaths? One by one, the former captain, his trusted aides, the most capable of the Sorton Swarm, who might become future commanders, all of them slain by an invisible hand. And with their deaths, the way was open for Solkazil to become the Sultan Sworn's youngest captain in a century. The monarchists were plotting to kill the best and bravest of the Sultan Sworn, to purge its ranks of greatness and innervate it so that it could no longer carry out its duties to serve as sword and shield of the Sultanate. Which begs the question, how did Solkazil remain captain for 30 long years? How did he avoid the poisoner's kiss? When men were better than him had succumbed. There can be only one explanation. He was the monarchist's cat's paw, the turncloak in our midst. Needless to say, I am more determined to track him down than ever before. While I continue my investigation, I have a trial for you. I want you to see the gallant armor, the legendary raiments worn by generations of the finest soldiers of the Sultan Sworn. In accordance with the Sultan Sworn tradition, the set that would be yours has been scattered across southern Thanalan. Each piece has been locked within a coffer, which will be guarded by 2 men. You must best the Sultan Sworn themselves if you are to claim their armor. Good, the armor is yours. You have learned your lessons well and honed your skills, and now you are ready to face Solkazil, the traitor. Yes, the time has come. I have discovered his hiding place and made contact through emissaries. We are negotiating the return of Oathkeeper. Secrecy is crucial, as is preparation. We will leave only when you are ready. Genlins wishes to know if you are ready to face Solkazal. The recovery of Oathkeeper will be the first step in restoring the honor of the Sultansworn. I have told Solkazal that if he returns the sword, we will give him a fair trial. Otherwise, he shall be captured and thrown at the feet of the Sultana for judgment. The parley is to take place south of Forgotten Springs in Sangoli Desert. Give me your map and I'll mark the location. While I believe he is acting alone, we must be prepared for anything. You may be certain that the Monotarists will not be so kindly to take his surrender. In fact, I believe that should the Montaris discover Solkazal is willing to parley, they will surely try to intervene. Therefore, we must not speak of what we do, not to anyone. We should travel separately as to not attract attention. We shall meet again at the parley. So you dared to come. You are a brazen one, I'll grant you that. But did you really think I wouldn't find out? Come, confess. My allies within the Sultansworn have told me the truth. I know you are working in league with the traitor and the Monterists. Confess. With your dying breath, you will tell me where I can find Oathkeeper and the traitor who stole it. Do you dare accuse my own Sultansworn of lying? We are comrades in arms, every one of us bound in brotherhood by our oath. I would trust them with my life. What is your word? When set against theirs, we know the meaning of honor. You are a naive fool. I suspected you from the beginning, ever since you showed me the soul of the Paladin that traitor Solkazal gave you. You were, no matter how briefly, a Paladin, and as such you are bound by a code of honor that is unforgiving as it is noble. Traitor! I sentence you to death and decree that your body shall lie here and feed the crows. You cannot do this. I'm the greater swordsman. You're superior in every way. You are blinded, Genlins, by your own conviction. Genlins, remember your own lesson. A paladin does not exist to defend his position or the honor of his fellow Sultansworn. Those men were assassins, in service to the Monterists. The moment you outlived your usefulness, you were to be killed. You and this free paladin of yours. Liar! You were their agent. You betrayed us for them. You were always naive, Genlins. Too willing to trust your fellow man. It's one of your virtues, but you have a deplorable habit of turning your virtues into vices. Think. The information you uncovered, how did you come by it? Did it fall into your lap as if, oh, I don't know, someone was feeding it to you for their own purposes? You and the Paladin under your commands are the Monarch's lapdogs. Genlands, you've been led a merry dance and followed their lead every step of the way. Then, you were never a traitor? You were innocent? I have wronged you. Easy now. Your wounds aren't mortal, but you still need to rest. I'll take care of the captain. He's had worse and I'll have him back on his feet soon enough. You've been a fine warrior and learned all there is to know about the way of the Paladin. I think perhaps that now you're aware just how much you've grown. Well, 'tis time you were made aware, Paladin. When the captain's recovered, keep an eye on him for me, will you? He needs someone like you to watch his back. Paladin, I have done you a great wrong. I allowed myself to be hoodwinked, accused you of treason, and even turned my sword against you. I hope that you can find it in your heart to forgive me. As for me, yes, I am recovered from my wounds, at least those that will heal. But far more importantly than that, Sokozol is innocent after all. He was never a traitor, and the dream that I followed in my youth was not a lie. I remain captain of the elite, although a poor substitute for my predecessor. I am now working on a plan to strike back at the Monarists and restore the Sultan Swarm to its former strength. No, do not be afraid for me. We've unmasked the foe and he cannot hide behind his deceptions anymore. The assassins won't find it easy to reach me. For now, I will bide my time, marshal my strength, and when the time is ripe, strike hard at our enemies. Genlands wishes to bid you farewell. Welcome, Paladin. I had hoped to see you before I left. You remained a true friend, even after the wrongs I did to you, and I owe you my trust. So I will tell you everything I have learned. After our encounter in the hills, I spent some time in the care of Sokozol, recovering from my wounds. As I convalesced, he gave me the true account from what happened these last few years in his solitary war against the Monarists. After he went into hiding, he tried to get word to me about what was happening, but I was surrounded by agents in the pay of the Monarists who kept me isolated and ignorant. They planted that lie that Sokozol was a traitor and tricked me into tracking him down. I was their puppet, twitching obediently at the end of the strings they pulled. But when I discovered that Death's Embrace had been behind the demise of my brothers and sisters, they panicked, especially when they found out I had shared the information with you. They set a trap for us and baited us into a promise of a parley with Sokozol. Sokozol was no traitor, as I should have well known, but I allowed myself to be deceived by the whispers of mummers of flatterers, and no, that was not the way of it. It was not their lies that made me blind, but my desire, nay, obsession, to restore our honor. For the Sultan Sworn and all paladins who have bent the knee to a higher cause, honor is a means to an end, not the end itself. I lost sight of that, and in doing so, I lost sight of my true duty. Sokozol understood what was happening, and that is why he gave you the soul of the paladin. It was a remonstration, a message. Look how adventurers live, he was telling me. Where does their honor, their authority come from? I owe my position to the machinations of the Monarists. They calculated that young captain, eager to prove his loyalty, bound by unquestioning fealty, would be all the easier to control, and they were right. I am a sham and a fake, but the world does not know that, and even the illusion of power is a power of sorts. I can use it to fight back. I will tell my subordinates that I am fleeing to Snowcloak and Corythus. When the Monarists hear this, as they surely will, they will send assassins after me again. But when they show their hand, I will stand my ground and fight back. I realize that you may wish to offer your assistance, however I cannot in good conscience put you in harm's way anymore. You too have become a target of Cabal's assassins. The odds will be against me, that much is certain. The Solkazul has taught me much, and if I am brave and vigilant, I know I can triumph. I am sorry you have been caught up in your own political struggles, but now, as a paladin, it is time you traveled on your own path. Ah yes, Solkazul wishes to have a word with you as well. You'll find him in central Thanalan. Allow me to mark the location on your map. Thank you for coming, Tolucc. We haven't much time, so I'll be blunt. Genlins will die if he faces death's embrace alone. I know what I must do, and I suspect you do as well. If you are the woman I believe you to be, then we shall meet again very soon. You as well? I told you to go to ground. This isn't your fight. First Solkazul, now you? Are you both so eager to die? You forget that we are paladins. Wheresoever our duty leads us, we go, and do so of our own free will. To abide by one's own sense of justice is to embrace the paladin's creed. Sworn or unsworn, we are paladins true, and the only true oath we swear is the one we swear to ourselves. Now, come, let us stand shoulder to shoulder and show the Blackhearts the metal of our souls and the steel of our swords. You've done well. You never flinched from your duty. You followed the path you knew you had to take, and you showed us what it means to be a paladin. And you even managed to prise the scales from Jinlin's eyes while you were at it. It's been an honor to know you, and to watch you grow. In any case, today's battle should blunt the Monarch's dagger, at least for a while. They'll think twice before sending assassins after the Sultan Sworn again. I trust you'll see to this, Miss Jenslins? Yes, sir. I mean, Captain. Please, sir, return to the capital. Take up your command again. The burden, it's too much for the likes of me. The Monarchists may have stolen Oathkeeper, but oaths are not forged in steel. They are sworn in the heart. You never betrayed your oaths, Jinlins. And as for your leadership, well, ask this Paladin if she learned anything from you. No matter what the circumstances, once a man has left the Sultan Sworn, he cannot return. No, I followed my own path, and on it I will stay. I have followed you since the day I vowed to join the ranks of the Sultan Sworn. Has the time come for me to stop following and begin to lead? Thank you for coming. Once again, you have placed me in your debt. See me in the city when you return. I'll have something for you. Welcome, Paladin. These have been troubled times for the Sultan Sworn, and you have served us loyally. You did what was just, followed the Paladin way, and defended the weak and needy. You are a true Oathkeeper. Honor and right were yours from the very beginning, and that is what made you strong. Strong enough to defeat me. The sword Oathkeeper is yet to be found, but I've come to realize that I do not need it. Nay, not to lead the Sultan Sworn, nor to restore our good name. The oaths we keep are in our hearts, not in hollowed blades. Solkazul has left to wander the nations of Eorzea. He is a man of honor, and unless I am very much mistaken, he will continue to look for the sword that was gifted by our ruler centuries ago. I shall continue to serve Ul'dah as one of the Sultan Sworn. You shall defend the people of Eorzea as a free paladin. Our paths diverge for now, but we shall forever be bonded by the oaths we keep in our hearts. But listen to me. Noble words aren't much good to an adventurer who has to face monsters and menaces out in the real world. Fortunately, I have something that'll serve you rather better. The sacred armor has been kept within the Sultan Sworn for many generations. It was given only to those Sultan Sworn who had, through feats of arms and deeds of great courage, earned the privilege to wear it. But something tells me that, for the first time since it left the armorer's forge, this armor should go to someone who is not of the Sultan Sworn. If I allow myself to be a slave to tradition, the paladin who deserves it the most would never wear it. Now, wouldn't that be a wasted fine plate? Just one thing, if anyone asks where you got it, you mustn't say it was me.